So, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the Finance Committee meeting to order. We have a quorum, so we're good to go. First thing on the agenda tonight is reserve fund transfers, of which we have two. The first one is seeking a transfer of $7,800 from the reserve fund to the center office building services in order to replace a carpeted floor in one of the offices over there with one of those vinyl hardwood floors like you see downstairs when you walk into this building. And that's to alleviate some allergy symptoms that some of the people who work in that office have. So, I don't know if we have any questions. Otherwise, it's just a, work site specific. We're trying to take care of, Oh, go ahead.
Just a point of information, I see that it's $7,800, it's $6,500, the $1,300 is apparently for the overtime. So am I right in assuming this is gonna be done in non-work hours, like on a weekend?
Yeah, so let me just, so right now, because Mike will ask, there's $132,500 in the reserve fund.
Yep.
The cost of this, substitution of the flooring in that office is approximately $7,800. The facilities manager has received one quote at this point in time, $6,500 for the flooring, and then $1,300 for overtime for the work to be done when staff is not there. All of the furniture is going to need to be moved out of the room in order to replace the carpeting. Robin is working on getting some additional quotes, so this would be the worst-case scenario. And obviously, if she gets a quote that is less expensive, we would go with that quote. But this is, this was time-sensitive. You guys were meeting, and so I wanted to bring it forward this evening, even though we don't have the number of quotes that we would like before we move forward.
Any other questions or comments?
Just a question of the chair. Would a motion be in order for a not-to-exceed motion?
So there's no such thing as not to exceed, so you have to actually vote a dollar amount, and then if it's not used, then it would just close out at the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
How long is it going to take to install?
So there's a backlog on everything else as far as getting the actual materials. Robin can speak on that.
Good evening. Thank you all for having me tonight and entertaining these two motions. The materials are at least a 4-week lead time. And I'm hoping that when the contractor says 4 weeks, it is 4 weeks, unlike most of the other issues we're having with lots of other products these days. So we're going to do the best that we can to source this, to get multiple quotes to make sure that we have the most cost effective and also timing wise that we will coordinate. I was anticipating doing the installation on perhaps a Friday over the weekend, and so that we have less impact to the staff, but I've also been working with Jeremy, our IT department, to make sure that the days that we are in that office, that staff can work remotely.
That was my point. If they could work remotely, and it's like, I don't know how many staff there are, maybe they can do it like on a Friday, they work remotely, do it one day, and we can eliminate the overtime.
Well, the issue also is a matter of all the furniture needs to be moved out of the room, and so there's not a lot of places to move that furniture and then still allow staff to move around as well as the public that comes in. But we are going to do all we can to, keep this cost as low as possible. It's not ideal just because of the amount of furniture that needs to be moved.
Okay.
Kevin? Larry, I think on your not-to-exceed issue, we're transferring $7,800 into this account to be used. If they need more than $7,800, they don't have the funding authorized to do that. They'd have to come back anyway. So I think the system kind of limits you to $7,800 anyway.
Right, thank you.
So then I would entertain a motion to transfer the amount of $7,800 from the reserve fund to account 11942, $52,000 to the center office building services account. Jim, do I have a second? Larry? Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? And that's unanimous, 7-0. Okay. Second reserve fund is the, I guess there was an appropriation shortfall for rehabbing the cemetery building in the North Cemetery, and we're just making up for that shortfall. I don't know if you want to add anything to it, that's pretty much it.
Right, I would just say the low bidder, this project did go out to bid, there were two bidders, I did provide that information to you. The low bidder was $35,140, the original appropriation was $30,000, and so we're asking for the additional $5,140 so that the contract can be executed and the work can begin.
Questions or
I
comments?
have a comment.
Go ahead.
The other bid was $73,000 approximately, right?
Wow.
I would say sign this contract as quickly as possible when it started, because quite honestly, the pictures don't do justice to the condition of that building.
Yeah.
There's water on the floor inside that building right now. Okay, and they're gonna remove the chimney. I assume it's not heated because the chimney goes nowhere except, but it's in really tough shape. And if we can do that for $35,000, that's just a comment. Jump on it real quick because I just don't,
So do I
it's
take,
unrealistic
I
to
can
me
take
that,
that as your motion to
oh,
approve the
you can take it
transfer?
as my motion because this is,
So, do I have a
You been
second to
seen
Jim's motion? So Larry there too, so we'll go into further discussion or further questions related to the 54.
What does that building do, by the way, just out of curiosity? I went online, I was looking at, trying to find it, couldn't even find a picture of it.
it's maintenance. There's a cart inside that looks like it's got fertilizer in it and things like that. I think Steve would maintain it.
Robin, do you want to speak to that a little more?
Sure. Half of it is the DPW garage. They keep two of the large tractors and the lawnmowers for the cemetery in that space, since they don't have enough room in their current building to house everything. And this way they don't have to transport it back and forth. And then they also keep the flags in there, that come off of the stones, and some trash cans that I believe are placed around the cemetery in the summer. They're currently wintering in that space as well. So it's a storage and utility function for the cemetery services.
I did have one other question. Has that got any historical value? Is that in any way? Because it's a pretty old building. Is there any historical significance to it?
You know that, Robin? Is it on the historical register or anything?
I agree with you that it's very old. There's some very historic pictures of the cemetery with that building. I actually think there's an addition to it. I used a lead testing kit from Home Depot on the building. One part tested positive for lead and the other part didn't. Thus, meaning that age was probably a little bit newer. So that's part of why the cost is also high. It's lead safe work practices for the lead paint. But I would agree that it's somewhat historic. There's some interesting features about that building, and I'm really trying to keep the character of that building without really taking it away. So we're going to preserve the windows and restore them the way they are. We're not going to replace them with vinyl or anything like that. So we'll try to keep the best that we can on the exterior.
Any other questions on the comments? Or I just adjusting your glass.
My comment applies to both of them. Let's vote on this one, and I'll just make the comment.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, just one quick one. Is this an operation? I mean, I saw like on the site, they're charging for plots or something. Is this like an ongoing operation that people pay for, or is it everything funded by the town? And how does it function a little bit? Just out of curiosity.
Are you talking?
So
are you
ma-
talking-
Cemetery, how does
maybe
it
I can-
work? I mean, we're
So,
paying.
so the town maintains the cemetery. So what
Right.
you're saying is there's equipment and other materials that are in there to maintain it. And if you do have a burial, the town needs the equipment to go out and do the burial and so forth. So this is a maintenance, building for equipment and materials that are needed for the town to maintain and operate that cemetery.
Okay. Is it a profitable, does it make money? Does it have like operating cost and revenue coming in, or is it just a total cost to the town?
So when someone buys a plot or a lot, there is a cost for purchasing that. Part of the cost goes into the general fund and part goes into a cemetery perpetual care account. There's not, every once in a while, we will charge something to the perpetual care account, but it's not a ton of money. There's also some other smaller fees that that are charged for things at the like I'm trying to think. I don't, at the top of my head, I don't know all the fees, but there are small fees that are associated, but it's not, the cemetery is part of, under the DPW. It's, it's not like it doesn't make money other than when someone actually.
I just wanted to say cover its costs, so somebody
does not,
buys a
no.
plot, and then after that, there's maintenance associated with it. Each plot doesn't get like each maintenance charge every year or something like that.
No, it's just the one time, yep.
Okay.
Once you're in the plot, you're not writing checks after that.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody was complaining about the building there, huh?
So you had a comment you wanted to make, Mike?
I'll just make it general. So sometimes I find the descriptions and the reasons why a little lacking in detail and supportive of what's going on versus discussions. I just find that both of these are very well supported and good examples of how to, structure the need and the reasons why for these are reserve fund transfers.
I'd agree. I mean, you had all the supporting doc to back them both up.
The bid document that they have to comply with is outrageously long. And one of the reasons I asked about the historic context was because there's 2 garage doors on this building. And if we had to restore them, it would be very expensive, whereas down the road, if we have to replace them, it will be much less expensive. Because they're old wood doors and they're in average to less than average condition, anyway, for what it's worth.
All right, any other comments, or can we move on to the vote? All right, we'll move on. So all those in favor of the transfer? That's 7-0. That's. And Barbara's here to actually take the forms in person. So those are good. All right, so moving on. The next thing on the agenda is meeting minutes.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
And we have the minutes here provided by Joanne for January 13th. I don't know if there's any questions or comments to them. I didn't see anything that really stuck out.
No.
So Jim,
I'll make a motion.
to accept them as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll go with Ken. Okay. As written, and this is what date did I say that was?
Oh,
The 13th.
that was the 13th, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay. I can't, my chicken scratch isn't helping me tonight. All right, any other questions or comments? All those in favor? And that's 7-0. Great. So, that gets us through the minutes, nice and quick. All right, old business, anyone got old business? New business? Okay, I have new business. So, this probably marks Joanne's last time in service of our committee, because she and her husband are moving on to much greener pastures. And so Barbara has started the process of posting for a new clerk, and hopefully we'll have someone lined up by the time the whole process starts. But we'll see.
Joanne, I think we'll be seeing you again.
I know
But
it's not an easy job to
I just wanted to take the time to thank Joanne for all the effort you've put forth, and you've done a tremendous job on behalf of our committee.
You sure have.
Thank you.
Yes, that is true.
All right, anybody else? Public access?
Hang on, does that mean you're still gonna be able to finish at least tonight's minutes, or do I need to pay a little bit? Okay.
Whoops.
I could do it, I just,
So I have public access, but I still only see Robin and Barbara on the public part of this phone call, so I don't think there's anybody there, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Larry seconds. Comments? All those in favor? 7-0 at 7:14. Well, 7:15, we'll go with the same one. Great, thank you.
Yeah, you should go by the same
We should go
clock.
by the same clock, because I looked up there.
Yeah.
Great, thank you,
Things
everybody.
Going under the new,
We having a Saturday meeting this year?
Barbara?
Very,
What?
I should have asked that in session.
Are we having a Saturday meeting this year?
I don't know, do you want a Saturday meeting?
I tend to like them, but that's just me. I know Barbara's in the process of putting the book together, and, you know, we're just in that process at this moment. So,
I mean, if everyone wants one, then that's what we'll do.
what is the board
We do it
select?
last year?
I haven't talked to the board yet.
No, that we did, do we?
I don't remember.
Is that-
I don't think, with the book and the way it's been working, I mean, it's, you know, the only thing that's really nice is to have that joint thing, just to hear what the Board of Selectmen are trying to accomplish. You know, do they have a plan, and where are they going with it?